Good day, welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name's Dika, where I share my experiences and my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve along the way and hopefully you learn something. Most of this, I do this for educational purposes to help fellow hunting, outdoorsmen, angling people along the way. Today I'm going to talk about the story where I fell through the ice twice and lived to tell about it. Before I get started, please subscribe to my page, like my videos, and ring that bell. Make sure you ring that bell. That's going to alert you of any new videos I got coming out. So, my story. There's two stories. One was ice skating, and the other one was actually bass fishing on the water. First one was ice skating. I was very young. I think I was about 17 years old, and me and friends found this sort of swamp behind the neighborhoods there, and we actually brought a snowblower out onto it, and we got all the snow off it, and we began to do some ice skating there. Now, we didn't know how deep it was, and we didn't even know it was there. We were kind of just screwing around out and found it and decided to ice skate on it, and there was a small path where we could walk it, and we turned on the snowblower and got the snowblower out there, and we had a good time until I fell through. Now, we were just skating around, and the ice was very, very thick. I would go as far as to say it was safe. It had been cold. I'm from Massachusetts, so it had been cold for a long time, and we were out walking on it the day prior, and there was no issues whatsoever. We were walking on it, throwing rocks on it, all types of stupid things that stupid kids do. Excuse me. So, I got water here. And so the next day we decided to go ice skating. We brought a net and some hockey sticks and whatnot. We went out and we were ice skating. And to this day, I'm not sure what happened. All I did was I was just skating along, and and I heard cracking, and a piece just probably about, I don't know, it was probably maybe 9 foot in diameter. It just cracked like this, and I fell on my back and went straight into the ice, and then the piece came back up and kind of sealed the hole. But to my surprise, I was probably only in about 3 to 4 feet of water, so it came back up and kind of wedged me in between the solid ice and where it broke, if you can imagine. So like, this is the ice, and this is the piece that broke, and I slid underneath this, but I had my arms up, and I was able to, like, it kind of like clotheslined me, but I was able to catch it like that, and I went into the ice. My friends pulled me out, and it was really difficult to get out. So I've learned now that you don't try to kind of pull your way out. You kind of almost try to swim your way out if you can, and because they couldn't get onto that piece of ice, so they had to get onto the other piece that was like, I was underneath it, and they kind of pulled me up and over that. So to make a long story short, I was okay, but I couldn't get my pants off. I couldn't get my skates off. I couldn't get anything off because once I got out, it immediately froze. And then I know now that I was at a high risk for hypothermia. I ended up in the emergency room later that day. So what I did is, I was a stupid kid. I just walked home with my skates on, and then got to my house. It was, I don't know, a quarter mile from there maybe. Normally I had rode my bike to this spot, but I couldn't ride my bike with skates on, which was very, very difficult. Even I completely ruined my skates walking home on the pavement with my skates on, but I couldn't get them off. And I was feeling, I was very, very cold on my walk home, but I really didn't think anything of it. You know, I was young and dumb. In retrospect, I probably should have called 911 because I had suffered some injuries to my feet where even to this day, when my feet get cold, it's difficult to retain heatness on them. So I got home, I defrosted, my mother freaked out, and she ended up driving me to the emergency room with my skates still on because they were still frozen, and they used like trauma shears and a saw to cut my skates off because they were frozen. Same thing with my pants. I couldn't get them off. They were frozen to my body, similar to sticking your tongue to a flagpole. They had completely frozen to my skin, which was very, very painful. So long story short, I suffered some minor hypothermia, and I ended up going home that day, and I was fine. So that's a lesson to you. If you do encounter that where your clothes are frozen to you, 911 is probably the best call, because they have something called a bear hugger, and it's like an inflatable raft that goes on top of you, but it fills with warm air, and it warms your body as well as sort of defrosts the clothes that are on you. So the second time I was ice fishing, and that was absolutely horrible. I thought I was dead. I thought I was going to die. We had been out ice fishing on a local pond, and we had ice fished all day, and even had a couple beers, and we had a fire on the ice and all types of things. And had lots of clothing on, and my gear, we were dragging our gear on a sled behind us. We were on our way back to the truck, and I just fell through the ice. I went straight down through the ice. My friend was right next to me, and I went straight down. Now, in retrospect, what it was either a hole that someone else made that was oversized, or someone had cut like a rectangle or something out of the ice, and it wasn't completely frozen, because I just took a step and I went straight through. And when I came up, so I went straight through. I went down to the bottom of the lake. I was thinking back, I was probably in anywhere from 10 to maybe 15 feet of water. And when I went down, I went straight down, and I hit the bottom. And I remember hitting the bottom, and then I just pushed up, and luckily I came right up through the same hole. I got up, and I was freaking out, and I put my hands like on the ice, and my hands froze to the ice, and it was horrible. I was so scared. I thought I was dead. And knowing what I knew from when I was a child, I know that you have to take all your clothes off. You have to get all that clothes off as soon as you possibly can and heat up. So what I did is I had trouble walking because everything was frozen to me. So my buddy just put me in the sled and dragged me to my car. We turned the car on, got the heat on. I stripped down completely naked. I got everything off. Some of it was frozen to my skin. I got everything off, got in the car, and I was heated pretty quickly. Since then, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, I have what's called Raynaud's in my hands. Now, I don't know if that caused it. I'm not sure how Raynaud's is caused, but since then I have, when it gets below like 40 degrees, like I can't really wear gloves out in the cold. I can't wear mittens. I have to keep like the tips of my fingers warm, otherwise they spasm and then they lose circulation. They go completely white on the top, only on this hand. And it's been since then. Maybe I was just into habit, but I don't know. So the tip you want to take from this, if you do fall through, you got to get those clothes off quick. Unless it's like a 45-degree day and you're skating on ice that had been frozen for a long time, and a lot of times you're out there skating and you got a short sleeve shirt on, and you're having a good time. Unless it's a day like that, but for the most part, you got to get those clothes off. A lot of us we're bulked up. We have jackets on and hats, and get those off as soon as you possibly can, and then get warm. Even if you're on the lake, you get those off, and you get a blanket around you, get something dry around you. You do jumping jacks. I've researched hypothermia since then, and I don't go on the ice. My fat ass does not go on the ice anymore, because third time's a charm. I'm doomed the third time it goes in. Most people don't fall through once, and I fell through twice. And they were both on conditions that it was just random that I fell through. They were both conditions that were good for skating or good for fishing. It was just, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So lesson learned, you get those clothes off quick. And I mean, if you're doing jumping jacks on the ice naked, it's better than being in frozen clothing where it's going to cause hypothermia and potentially frostbite to parts of your body. All right, so that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed the story. As I said before, just subscribe to my channel if you like these videos. like any of my videos, and I love comments. Hopefully I get some comments on this one. And ring that bell. That's going to alert you of any new videos I got coming out. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Be well.